So,
learning something a joke. Like,
yo, you think if I was to go on ChatGPT right now and be like, yo, she a thought, you think she'll be able to understand that?
I think so because they're gonna probably read
All
like
right, let's test it out right now. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and I'm gonna put yo, shorty's a thought, and I'm gonna see what it's gonna say.
You could tell a man about a distance travel. I'm a seeker of knowledge. I'm a nerd. I always want to learn. And whenever you stop learning, you stop growing. When you stop growing, you die.
What amateur builders? Welcome back to Amateur Builders, guys. So today we're gonna take a little bit of a break on working on some of the conceptual products that we was doing before. We're just gonna talk about certain things that's been happening in tech. There's been a lot of interesting things that's been happening, a lot of exciting things. So we're just gonna jump straight into that. Actually, we're gonna give a little bit of update about some of the products. You want to jump into that first, Ron?
yeah. Give me a second. Let me know if my thing is lagging. I guess it's lagging on mine. But so the survey that for pedagogy, that product, we got like more responses. Not a huge amount, but we got like three more from the last. I think last episode it was like 8.
Yeah.
It's at 11 now, so it's pretty much relatively like certain questions change. Like obviously the metrics, but it's still good enough info to like make an assumption that pedagogy could be something that's beneficial for.
Let me actually give like a little bit of context behind what pedagogy is for like people who might be like listening for the first time.
Yeah.
So pedagogy is basically an app that makes you learn actionably. So before you move on to any other step throughout your learning process, utilizing the app, you need to basically make sure that you fully understand the first step. So, for example, if you want to write a blog, so we used the blog as an example as for the demo last time. You want to write a blog, it basically sort of like walk you through how to write a blog, and each step you need to be able to accomplish and actually show that you have an understanding of it before you can move on. And I think that's very essential in the learning process. If you don't actually show that you've learned and been able to actually understand the things that you're learning, then what's the point of learning? So that's what pedagogy is about. And I'm gonna let you get back to it, Ron.
Yeah. No. So definitely, or piggybacking off that, like using those responses now, we can like maybe build like a more thorough marketing process because now we think, okay, like now we see students might use certain like competitors, like what will be our competitor for pedagogy, like Udemy. I had a question in there, I believe, was about like if they use Udemy or like those type of learning platforms, what is like what was beneficial or what wasn't.
Yeah.
I haven't read those responses, but like I think it's there. Just give me a second. Actually, it's fine. It's fine because my computer's moving slow. I don't want to be trying to like go through the shit. But
So good.
for the most part, it was pretty good though. It was pretty like we did a small little run and just seeing how it will go. But it could go well if we keep going.
Yeah. But other than that, let's just talk about some of the things that we both seen over the week in terms of tech. I've seen a lot of interesting things, so I'm gonna try to let's kick it off with a bang. Let's talk about the craziness that's been happening at OpenAI. So
Yeah.
if you live under the bed or I don't know where you've been, OpenAI just had a crazy. And I guess we're pretty late because like everything's already back to normal. But
Everything is.
yeah, it's pretty back to normal. But it was just a whole bunch of craziness that happened throughout. Was it last week or the week before?
I think it was last week over the weekend.
So basically, the board of OpenAI decided that Sam Altman wasn't that guy, and it was like packed him up. They basically kicked him off the team. It was like he's not part of OpenAI no more. They packed him up. They sent him going, and then freaking the Microsoft CEO came out of nowhere. Boom, he came in. He's like, "Yo, I got an open seat for you right there at Microsoft." He said, "I got you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about them." He said, "Don't worry about them. I got an open seat for you right here." So Sam Altman was like, "I bet I'm gonna go over there." He was about to join Microsoft, and then a whole bunch of employees from OpenAI, I think it was like 500 to like 600 of them, basically signed a letter saying, "Oh, if Sam Altman leave, We
He's leaving
following
too.
him.
Yeah,
Yo,
that was
it
crazy.
was crazy. It was like, yeah, we leaving too. So I felt like the CEO of Microsoft was basically like a mastermind behind everything. Because at the end of the day, Microsoft was winning regardless. Because they was like, he was like, oh, regardless of what happened with OpenAI, we still have a partnership with them, and we're gonna be there to support them. But
Right.
if Sam Altman want to come to Microsoft and work with us, he could work with us too. So he was just like, it's a win-win situation for them regardless.
Didn't give a damn about OpenAI because
Yeah, he
I
ain't
think
care, bro.
eventually, like, they wanted to just commercialize it, and it's already commercialized.
And the thing was that he was so smart because like he did it the day before the market opened up. So because there was like there was gonna be a big crash on the stock of Microsoft if that news would have been out the next day. It would have been a big crash. So as soon as he seen that, he started paying. He started making his moves like a chess move. He was like he became a chess master, bro. He was just doing some crazy stuff. But to just like sum it all up, basically Sam Altman went back to become the CEO. But another news came out of it. Some people, some employees at OpenAI was throwing the flag, basically saying that they were able to identify AGI. Basically, they was able to. They've seen something that in model that they're working on. I think they call it Q star is basically they basically said they achieved AGI, and that's a little bit scary and exciting at the same time. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's also just the preface. Like, they was saying this like hypothetical, like, but it's just all like that went into the whole drama that happened at OpenAI
Yeah,
and how that's the I think in their press release once they fired Altman, they said
yeah,
like something about his communication. He wasn't candid with the communication, and
hmm,
several things could mean that, but I think they was probably citing that incident supposedly. That's what
yeah,
conspiracy theorists is like saying, really.
yeah.
But
I think yeah, you're right because like some people was also saying that that was some of the reasons why the board sort of like stepped in because they felt like um Sid Allman was moving too fast and he wasn't like becoming like
yeah,
precautious
exactly,
with like AI safety and
exactly.
stuff like that. So some people felt like
I
oh they had
think
to like
you know what's cool too about that. Like,
what
I remember he tweeted. I think one of the founders, his name is Ilya Sutskin,
yeah Ilya something
and when Sam tweeted out "I love you all," it's spelled Ilya, so the acronym I, so
uh
he's
I
trying to
didn't
send
think that
shade.
yeah
Somebody
he's
said that, I was like, nah, y'all crazy, because he was
yeah
like, Ilya was the one who basically wanted him out. It's like, nah, you gotta go.
yeah he's a sneaky dude bro because
So
he's
and
like
then he backtracked, like, you know what, nah,
yeah but
I
he was
think
the
I
one who
messed up.
literally like sent him the email to join
Yeah,
the meeting. So I'm just
yeah,
like
yeah,
bro that's some sneaky shit.
yeah. And then he tried to make it seem like, oh, I guess if that is true, like then he was in line with the mission because they want to make AI safe, right? So
Yeah,
if they did achieve AGI or had some type of like projection to, and then he wasn't candid because like in the startup world, you move fast, break things, right? But
yeah.
if you're not like saying no, like I think we probably about to reach this shit. Like if you're just like chill,
So
chill, chill, like
let's just
keep it quiet.
hypothetically say they were to achieve AGI. What do you think is the outcomes of it? What do you think? How do you think it's gonna affect society, in your opinion?
I think it would be pretty good, pretty like a slow process because I think to be able to just like move into, let's say, the next industry OpenAI want to be in is or use their AGI tool or tech for is healthcare, right? And I think it's still gonna be long years ahead to see changes.
Yeah,
I don't think like by next year we're gonna be like in flying cars and shit like that. But I think it would still be like there'll still be stuff that probably could be done like rapidly, like solving some mathematical problems that people
yeah,
have long been trying, like mathematicians for years. So I think
hmm,
things like that will be solved. I think things like certain like physics equations and like issues might be able to be explained
yeah.
better with AGI, and we could advance more in that field. But for the most part, I still take time to like actually see the changes. And
No, I agree. I think where a lot of people tend to like go wrong at is like what the when they see like the term AI or like AGI, they think it's like the end of the world or something like that. But I think it's like it's not gonna just change overnight. It's gonna like be a long process of things changing and adapting. So like I'm not one to say like, oh, it's not gonna change society. I think it's definitely gonna change society in a big
Yeah,
way. I don't know exactly what that might look like, but I
yeah,
definitely know that like, it's gonna be a big change in the way we work, in the way we socialize. A lot of things are gonna be changing. But moving on to talking about like social kind of things, there's something interesting that I've seen uh, throughout the week. It was a social network concept. It was called DK, and I thought that was very interesting. So he basically sort of like talked about how currently there's only two big ways that a lot of social networks, social media platforms operate. Is one is based on followers, the followers system, and the second one is based on algorithm based. And he was basically sort of like talking about how those two systems doesn't really allow for good content and good quality content to come out of it. And he was basically talking about how it doesn't actually allow the people who are actually very creative and innovative in their approaches to actually be highlighted because there's so much it's so biased towards the big players that's already out there, and those big players tend to become complacent because they're already up there. So a lot of times the things that they do is just not up to par, or they just repurpose other people's information because they already have, they're already up there, so they don't really necessarily need to do that much work. So he basically thought of like, how can this whole thing be changed? And he came up with this concept of being able to everybody starts at 1,000 points. So on this platform, you log onto the platform, right? Everybody starts at 1,000 points, and the more content you produce, the more points people give you. But regardless of how many points people give you, every hour your points decrease. So, for example, you get on the platform, you start with 1,000 points, and then people give you. So you post a bunch of good content, and you get to 10,000 points. So in the feed, your post is going to be at the top because you earn those points, right? Because you putting out good content. But the whole concept of it is that every hour or every day, let's say it just accumulates, your points continuously keep decreasing. So regardless of how many points you accumulate, it doesn't really matter because you go back to an equilibrium where it's always 1,000 points. So it incentivizes people to actually want to create better content. It actually allows for other people to be able to get seen and be able to get recognition of the things that they're able to create. So I thought that was very smart because like even the people who lose the 1,000 points, you still are able to gain 1,000 points over time to go back. I mean, not 1,000 points. You're still able to gain points to go back to 1,000 points. So regardless of like if you're not posting or you are posting, the equilibrium is always 1,000 points. So you only get notoriety if you're posting good content. And I thought that was very smart in my opinion. What do you think?
no, I didn't really necessarily like it because I just thought that although I know with certain things now with social media, it's more like replicating humanity because I think I like that concept that it's like going back to equilibrium. I like that concept of it. I'm just thinking of like the ways in which like if someone is on there, they don't necessarily want to share their points. They just like reading content. Then it's like, who am I there? What am I there for? As just someone who just want to see content? Is it? I don't really want to create. I think he said that you can still just get points
Yeah.
if you like the content, but what if I'm just someone who given points? Like, what's the incentive for me to stay? It's like I'm just giving this person points, and then they eventually go back to where I was to like equilibrium. But what's my purpose there? Like, I say, like, am I seeing my friends there, and I'm like, yo, good stuff. I read the article. I like the image you created, whatever type of content you post. Um, what am I doing there? Just like cheerleader or something.
Yeah,
That's the
that was
only
a good
thing I was
point.
just like, I
No,
don't know.
that's a good point because like even in the article there was somebody else who was sort of like a VC who was like giving his take on it, and that's basically
Mm,
something that he said. Like a lot of times people just are just consumers. They just want to like look through the feed and just consume. But for me, is like if I'm able to actually see good content, then I'm that's more important for me. Is like I'd rather see good content first, because like a lot of times, especially like I'm not on social media that often now because it's just like just a bunch of bullshit that you see, and it's just
yeah,
like
it's true.
it's not entertaining for me. So like if I'm able to actually be able to see great content that actually appeals to me, then that's
Mm,
more important for me. And I just thought it was something. And I think a lot of times, like a lot of the approaches that people try to do when they create a lot of social networks, is basically replicating the same thing that's already out there, but just putting a little bit of a twist on it. And I think this approach that he was taking was totally innovative and totally new. And I think that's the reason why I just wanted to like talk about it because I thought it was like very interesting to me.
yeah, and it was by Larry Zickerman, and he's the co-founder of the podcasting company Anchor, which I think Anchor
Yeah,
sold to Spotify.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, and he just wrote this. He liked to write like conceptual products, like things we was doing. Like
yeah.
he
He might be
just write.
somebody to reach out to actually get
Yeah,
on the pod and just talk.
that's a fact. Because he liked to just talk about just concept products. Like he writes
Yeah,
about it. So actually, I'm gonna
exactly.
like look up his LinkedIn. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I
All
like
right.
it though.
So
I think it's just like, what's the incentive? You hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my fault. Like my thing's still lagging, but no, I was just saying like, I think it's cool, but like, just certain things like maybe could be worked on. So,
I think it could be still be built on top of it. It could be more features added onto it, but I just think like the core concept of it in itself was really good.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but let's move on. But we're gonna stay on the topic of AI. So there was this article that was talking about some upcoming things that AI would need for it to get to the next level. At the same time, so it was talking about some upcoming things that AI is going to be able to help change. So let's just talk about the first thing that AI need for it to go to the next phase. And he was talking about how if AI want to be calm and be able to understand humans better and be able to be more effective, they need to be able to contextualize culture. And I thought that was very smart because a lot of times, most of these large language models, they tend to be able to understand the language that we speak. A lot of them, like, for a lot, like, understanding language nowadays is very easy for a lot of large language models. Like, they tend to understand most languages, especially like the most spoken languages, not like small like dialects, but like the major languages like French, Chinese, Mandarin, French, Mandarin, what else? Spanish, English, all those kind of like major languages is able to understand and be able to fully be uh, great at it. But for it to really like fully be like effective, it needs to be able to understand culture. And culture is just bigger than language. Is the rituals, the history, those kind of like small nuances that make a person. You get what I mean? A lot of times people are more than just their language, their culture. Their culture is what make people. So if AI want to be very useful, it needs to be able to contextualize cultures and things of that nature. So
Yeah.
what do you want to add on to that?
I think that's cool. I mean, I think you're right in that aspect, and because most things is nuanced, so it's like you have the culture, some things like slang and like these kind of different
Yeah, that's a
subcultures,
fact.
and how will AI like detect what's like, something saved, and when
So,
is something a joke. Like,
yo, you think if I was to go on ChatGPT right now and be like, yo, she a thought, you think she'll be able to understand that?
I think so because they're gonna probably read
All
like,
right, let's test it out right now. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and I'm gonna put yo, shorty's a thought, and I'm gonna see what it's gonna say.
it's probably gonna be
All
like, "There's a large language model.
right.
I refute those."
All right, let me share my screen real quick. All right, bet. So I'm in Chat GPT right now, guys. Let's see. What should I put, bro?
Be like, yo, is a girl that talked to another guy, is she a dot or no? Something like that.
There was a girl that talks to multiple dudes at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, if a girl talks to multiple dudes at the same time, is she considered a dot?
Nah, that's probably. Let me see what those things will do at the same time. Imagine he actually understands it. Oh yeah, Dad understood it. It said the term "thought" is often used in a derogatory way to label someone, typically a woman who is perceived to have many sexual partners and to be. I mean, let's be honest. Thought is like very like normalized, I guess. Not normalized, but like it's a term that most people know. Like, so I guess
Yeah.
it's not surprising that Ashley knows
I
that. Let me see.
asked, what about Trish?
All right, what is Trish?
What is a Trish? Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I understood it too. All right, so
Oh
whatever.
wow, similar to term dot.
Okay,
It's hilarious.
that's funny, bro. But like that just goes to show like even our small little like thing that we just did, it shows like when it's able to understand the culture is way more exciting for people to actually utilize it.
Yeah,
All right, so let's
that's
move
true.
on to you got something else you want to say?
No, I'm just agreeing.
All right, so let's move on to some new areas where AI is going to be able to actually affect a lot of things. So in this article, it talked about the rise of tech femme. So basically, a lot of times, a big place where technology hasn't really been impactful has been in a lot of female uh, sectors. So like healthcare, mental space, beauty. Technology hasn't really penetrated there as much. So they were talking about how with AI, it's gonna be able to revolutionize a lot of like technology and feminine care and things like that. And I definitely believe in that. There's been a lot of platforms that's already out there that's been focusing on female and whatever needs that they have. And I think there's been because a lot of times technologies tend to be very male dominated, so we tend to not fully understand like the needs of female. So with AI, it's going to be able to actually help those females who are like first time founders and those kind of things to actually make their products and their dreams come to life. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's a place that's very underrepresented, and I think it needs to get a lot more attention. And I think AI will allow that to happen.
I think so too. I didn't even think about that.
Yo, that shit,
Yeah,
that
I
shit is a
didn't even think
huge market, bro. Just think about it. Like, there's so much things, especially like females tend to
yeah,
be some of the biggest spenders too. So it's like, if you're able
yeah.
to create a product that's like solving their problems and their issues, you're gonna make millions of dollars.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. It was one I was thinking about this other day. Well, not thinking,
Or
I heard it on a podcast, but it's not necessarily like female related. Like it was using AI to like curate personal styles for like the shoppers, so the consumer. So
mm,
usually people want to. So like you when you go shopping, right? You're probably in your head though. You're not maybe writing it out, but like in your head, it's like
yeah,
I'm
you
not
have
gonna
it.
go. Yeah, I'm not gonna go over like $100. I don't know. Let's just say that. And you're like, I just want like these pants, two pants, and like two tops or something. Like a shirt, sweater, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't want to go over $100. Let's just say that again. So you could take that. They took that idea and now they made it like where that's your parameters. That's like your filter. And now it's gonna scour the whole like web. So like I guess Zara, certain
What's that
select
app called?
partners.
Because I
I have
had a
to like look
similar
it up.
app to that. I had a similar idea to that. I think I was telling you about
I
that
have to
idea
get it.
before.
Yeah, I heard it on a pod. I forgot which one though. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I know which one. It's on TechCrunch to disrupt. I'm gonna send
Yeah,
it to
send
you.
me that because I definitely had an idea similar to that.
Yeah, and it was something with sustainability. So they had like this sustainability like expo, I think one of Disrupt's event,
Hmm.
TechCrunch event, and they'll just
Yeah.
it's a sustainability aspect to the app too. I think. It was like you can also like choose for like brands that focus on like sustainability and like environmentally friendly things.
Yeah.
But for
That's
the
dope.
most part, like that's one way with fashion and uh, beauty and stuff like that. I think that could be
Yeah.
cool. Like that
Now,
definitely.
that's really dope. All right. So there's another thing that definitely caught my attention throughout the week, and I've been like really going through like a rabbit hole of these kind of things. It's like it's called Indie Hustle. So it basically there's a newsletter where it basically highlights independent developers, independent entrepreneurs who are basically creating services and businesses. And there's this platform that really caught my attention. It's called Visa List. So what the Visa List basically do is gives you information about how to get visas, and it basically covers I think over like 200 countries. And I think it was so smart because like, and he's making $21,000 a month, and
Crazy.
that just blew my mind because it's just like it's a simple service where it's solving the issue that people might have. Because a lot of times when people are traveling, they want to get information about certain things, especially getting visas. A lot of times going to like certain countries, their websites and like their government websites is not really like the best. And government websites in general just sucks. But it's not the best, so it's not like easy to get information out of those places. So he was able to curate that in a easier way that people can digest. And he also added he partnered with like some other companies who are doing something similar so that was able to help him generate more money. He added advertisement on the platform. He added other services that helped boost him to get that $21,000 a month. But to me, it was just like something very simple and something very smart
Yeah, I didn't
that
even think
creates.
about that. When you told me about
Yeah,
this, I was like, yo, this is like actually needed. I think like most like microservices could be in like government because especially DMV and some type of
yeah,
way to like speed up your process.
the
But like
process, right?
they just
And
suck.
he's making $252,000 a year with something that doesn't even. Like, he's making passive income of something that probably took him, let's say, 5 to 6 months to build out. But now he's making $252,000 profit because there's no real loss in this. The probably thing that he has to spend money on is like maybe like I said the
Admin,
domain, the admin kind of
admin stuff.
things.
Yeah.
Maybe pay somebody to maintain it, and that's probably less than they may like overestimate $1,000. But
Mm.
regardless, there's so much more profit that he's making off of that. And I just want to emphasize how important it's going to be in the upcoming years, especially with the way AI is making things become a lot faster to be able to create microservices. And I think it's the easiest time to be able to create a microservice. And I've just been going ham and just like looking at a bunch of indie hustle kind of things, trying to identify how I can just, I think it's just like just come across, especially when you like look at a bunch of people, you start to see a pattern, and once you like recognize that pattern, you're able to see opportunities in a bunch of different places. And when I was looking at tourist visa, there was an idea that I came across, and I'm like, I might pursue that a little bit further. I gotta do a little more research on it, but I was like, yeah, that's kind of dope. And I think you had something similar too that you wanted to mention, right?
Yeah, so I had something like way where I was been thinking about this a while ago, but I actually came across a video on YouTube, and I think the guy was talking about the same thing I wanted to do. So I was like, I looked at the whole video. I even wrote down like he shared like a little Excel sheet to like put the businesses in. So
Yeah,
basically, the small business will be the small little like passive income would be like you go into Google and you just Google Maps, sorry, and then you'll Google like a local business. You know, it could be a carpentry, it could be laundromat, whatever, and you'll be like, we live in the Bronx, so like Bronx, New York, laundromat services or laundromat, and then it'll just populate different businesses, right? So with that, you could look at all the different links and see which business has a website. If they don't have a website, then you could mark that down as like your target. Like, okay, I'm gonna probably target them like a lead. And you could
Yeah.
put that in the little Excel sheet or Google sheet, and then you look in the pop up like that usually come. It'll have the phone number, like
Hmm.
address. You make a note of that too, like oh, I have the phone, right? So if it don't have a website, you go, all right, at least I have a phone number. Let me jot that down. Maybe I could call them up.
Yeah.
You want businesses like that, and the one you really want is the ones that, let's say, they have a website on the listing, and then you click on it, right, and the website sucks. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, or it just doesn't load at all. That's when it's like, oh, they
Yeah.
got a website, but they need, maybe I don't know, better site, better domain or something. So you make that note. Then once you got like 10 of them, you could just start reaching out to them, letting them know that you do like SEO, and you can help them with your business. And now the product that you're going to use is like a templated dashboard for them to check and see how everything is going to work, right? So
Now that's dope.
with all that's in the service, you could also get reviews for them. The product does that for you too, so you don't have to worry about that. But you could get reviews for them. You could get like pictures, put it up on the website, and show like
So
the products and whether the services working. I don't know. I think it's
you
cool
sort
though.
of like, nah, it's kind of cool because like, you sort of become like a micro agency for them. You basically like
Yeah, exactly,
take their
exactly,
whole. That's kind of, yeah, that's dope. I
exactly.
like
Yeah.
that.
So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it out for like 2 weeks, and maybe in the next like two episodes, I'm gonna
I would say a
just
month,
update
bro.
like a
I think
month.
a
Yeah,
month.
maybe
Yeah, a month gives
put
you
it on
enough
my
time.
calendar actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So like every week, just basically try to get 5 to 10
Hmm.
good businesses every week, and then reach out.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all know. Maybe that'll be like in the new year, and I could be like, yo, like reached out, I did whatever, and this is what I made, or this is what
Yeah.
happened. Basically.
All right. So before we actually leave, I want to leave you guys with two things that you guys should be able to look out for. So this is the Amateur Builders Podcast. We're focusing on people who want to start getting, you know, on the entrepreneur journey, who want to start getting to build things. There's two tools that I think you guys should check out. That's pretty cool. There's one called Screenshots of Code. So you could basically take a screenshot of, let's say, a website that you like. Let's say you want to, what's a good website? What's a good website that actually look nice? Let's just say
Generally,
YouTube. Let's just say, because I actually seen that. That was an example that they used. Let's say you take a screenshot of YouTube on your desktop, and you plug it in inside of this tool. It will be able to recreate an HTML and CSS. It will be able to recreate that website in HTML and CSS. So it is able to actually make you go faster and actually be able to build our websites a lot faster. Because if you want to create a business, that's one of the most important things that you need is a website. So that's a cool thing. It's called Screenshots of Code. And there's another cool tool that I think is going to change advertisement, marketing, those kind of things. It's called Pika Labs. So it's basically a generated video tool where you can basically give a prompt and then we'll be able to generate some videos out of it. And those two tools that I just mentioned, I think is very cool. It's still very early, but I think you guys should like start to follow them because I think it's going to be very useful in the upcoming months and years.
yeah. But I have no tools, but I definitely will look into those two as well, and probably use it for this project that I'm gonna do too. So,
Yeah, but
but yeah,
that's pretty much it for today, man. I think I sort of like this kind of like new sort of like just breaking down what happened over the week, just talking about this kind of things. I think it's
yeah,
cool from like to try to like build certain things at times, but just sitting down and just talking is kind of cool too.
yeah. Decompress.
Yep. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for today's podcast. Hope you guys got some information out of this. Um, like always, just get started, start building, and stay consistent. Peace, guys.